of all Jimi Hendrix singles, brand new on 45. That's what I got.
Wow. And
Yeah.
why did you have to get that?
Why did I have to get
Yeah,
that?
why was the only thing you went there specifically for that?
No, no. I went to, I love music, so
Yeah.
I thought I was going to be able to buy more than one thing.
Yeah.
So
And we're talking about Los Angeles.
yes,
Okay.
I bought that because I knew I couldn't find that anywhere
Oh,
else.
I gotcha. Gotcha.
So that's why I
Gotcha.
bought that.
Gotcha. And I would say the same thing. That's actually next on my list was we went there, went to Beverly Hills.
Yeah, me too.
Went to a Tower Records. I don't know which one we went to. We went down the Sunset Strip. I saw the Whiskey a Go Go, where the Doors
Yeah,
started, where Motley Crue started,
yeah.
where my favorite band from the late 80s and 90s, Bang Tango, actually played there, and actually just played there since getting back together. Was one of the last concerts that I think were probably had in the United States just because of COVID, but at the
Yeah.
Whiskey a Go Go. But a great memory. Would not want to live there, but
Mhm.
great memories.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other funny story about that place was I was at my cousin's house at the time, and it was on a hill in LA. The incline literally was like that, and my aunt's car couldn't go up the hill, so I it was a rent a car, and I went up the hill, parked the car, stayed the night at the house, and there was an earthquake. Probably I don't know 5 in the morning, and the other half says, "I'm in the bed." The other half enters the room, and she says, "Joe, don't lay there. Do something." And I'm like, "I'm going to call a hotline to God and say, hey, man, can you
Go
keep it
ahead and
down for me?"
stop the earthquake, please.
Quiet.
Yes. Call 911. What's your emergency? My wife is asking me to stop the earthquake, please. Just
I'll
one.
get right on
Hold
that.
on, sir.
I'll get right on
It
that.
was like when there was a fire across the street from us, and I called 911, and the lady on the other line said, "Is this a medical? Is this a medical emergency or a police emergency?" And I go, "Fire."
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
sir. You know what? Blah 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 blah. But that's pretty cool. That's pretty funny. My next one is Denver, Colorado. Denver,
I've never
Westminster,
been there. Never been
Golden,
there.
Colorado. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, what a blast! I've spent a lot of time out there with a job, and man, went to Golden, Colorado. We went to the Coors Light Brewery,
Sure.
and oh man, we were waiting and just salivating to get those as much as you want to drink.
Really?
And they had changed the rules to 3 7-ounce samples.
That's less than a can of Coke.
Yeah, it's a pretty good sized beer, but we were like, okay, is there a beer? Is there a bar
Oh,
across the
three.
street? You got
Okay.
primed up and ready to go. But the a candy, the what's the candy? What's those candies that they're hard, um, different flavors? Oh man,
Lifesavers.
not lifesavers. Ah man, but they're that company is there too in Golden, Colorado. Man, there's Jolly Ranchers.
Oh, okay, sure.
Jolly Ranchers.
Yeah.
But went to the Pepsi Coliseum. I've seen the Nuggets play. I've seen the Avalanche play. I've seen the Rockies play. It's a fun place to go. Maybe not just a destination for yourself, but if you have to go there for business, it's just fun. There's a bunch of stuff that you can do in that area, and great weather.
Yeah, I had a buddy of mine who used to live out there, so he really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Um, my number two, you already talked about, is Las Vegas. I've only been there once, and this was 20 years ago. But you've got the water show at the I'm forgetting the hotel. You got the water show. I want to say the Bellagio. The Bellagio has the water show,
Right in
and
front.
I don't gamble. I don't gamble at all, and I still had a great time. You could walk. You could walk everywhere.
Yeah.
Um, so ended up having breakfast buffet at Bally's, which is anything you could think of. If you're doing dinner, it's anything you could think of, and it's got the best chefs in America, if not the world. The coolest place that I wasn't a big fan of downtown. That I didn't go into the Stratosphere and do the roller coaster thing. I didn't do that. But the coolest thing that I thought was the mall at Caesar's Palace. There was one store that had autographed pictures and framed of everyone you could think of. Marilyn Monroe, John F. Kennedy, Joe DiMaggio, Marlon Brando, Harrison Ford, you name it. Carrie Fisher, everybody. So yeah, I need to go back. I haven't been there in a long time.
I gambled there twice and lost.
I can believe it.
I'm talking about my first two marriages. Caesar's Palace Mall was fabulous, especially because the ceiling rotated like the outdoors would during a 24-hour time frame.
Yes.
So, but once again, you could go down the Westward Ho and get a foot-long hot dog for free. You could go to Circus if you wanted to see what it was like back in the 60s and 70s. There was just so much, and it's ever changing. The landscape is ever changing there. And like I said, I'd love to go back, but that was my number 10. But that's your number 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm going first with my number 1, right?
I thought you didn't do your number 2. I thought I went first.
No, I did. You did go first, but I had Las Vegas, Cincinnati, Kings Island, Daytona and Sarasota, Memphis, McCormick's Creek, Turkey Run, Bloomington, Los Angeles, Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
So my number 1, of course, everybody knows what my number 1 is going to be: Indianapolis / Carmel. Back home.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Granted, my high school is not, Broad Ripple High School is no longer around, and a lot of people, my dad has passed away, my mom passed away in 1974. You just don't get together with family like you used to, just because there's, you'd get together all the time for just any kind of event or any kind of holiday, and then all of a sudden this one day it just all stopped, and it's really sad. But I do love my hometown of Indianapolis. I do. My mom lived in Carmel up until 2 years ago, until she moved and got a house on a lake in Kentucky where she retired. But I am a homer for Indianapolis, Carmel, Broad Ripple area. I just am.
Oh yeah, I love the city. I love the downtown. The downtown's better every month. The eateries have really improved. The downtown area has improved. They just built a walking trail over by my apartment, so you've got Greenwood. You've got
fix the chuck holes, though, dude. Fix the chuck holes.
Talk to the governor. Talk to the mayor. Excuse me. Hogshead. Yeah. Talk to Hogshead. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I love this. I love the city. It's got great sports. So yeah, the only downer that sticks in my craw about Indy, where's the subway? And we had the money and we turned it down. So if we had a subway, Indy would be have more industry, in my opinion.
I agree with that. I actually just watched a special on Amazon Prime. So if anybody out there is a Video Prime member, it was a hour and a half show on Tony Kiritsis.
I don't know him.
Oh man, it's about the guy who took the a guy hostage downtown with the shotgun around his neck. Look up when we get done with the show. Look up Kiritsis, Kiritsis, I think, Kiritsis. But an interesting story, very interesting story.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Joe, we did it again. We actually did an actual top 10 with no bonuses and no 9 more for a top 20.
I still got one more.
Oh yes, I forgot your number 1. Gag. I'm selfish today.
It's Monday.
Man alive. And we wonder why your wife asked you if you could do anything about the earthquake.
She's my ex now.
Well, that's and it all probably ended because you couldn't do anything about the earthquake.
Quite.
What was it again? Joe, do something?
I'm not immortal.
No, was it Joe, do something? Is that what she said?
Don't just sit there in
there.
the bed. Do something.
All right, man. What's your number one?
I've only been at this place once. And you want to talk about your problems melting away. And it's just a spiritual experience. And, I don't throw that word around very lightly, but the Grand Canyon in Arizona.
Oh, yes. Yep. Your mind does tend to think of just the grand scheme of things. No pun intended.
Right.
But, yeah, man. Have you been out there since they put the walkway?
No, I have not.
No. Yeah, that is something else. That is something else. Even just thinking about it, it is, it's breathtaking. And of course you've been there and I've been there, and it's just, it's something that you have to see in your lifetime.
Well, the crazy thing is pictures really don't do it justice. What happens is I didn't see the sunrise, but on sunset, the colors change every 5 minutes in the rocks. So I'm sure it's like that for sunrise. And yeah, it's fascinating.
And another place where the Brady Bunch was filmed.
Right. And I didn't get to ride down the donkey down the canyon.
Yeah. So. I remember being at the Grand Canyon in 1975, and my dad pushed me further and further out on a rock to get my picture. And I remember I'm just shaking in my boots that I was wearing.
Of course.
Yeah. But just a oh my gosh. And flying over it when you go to Las Vegas to fly over it and look down at it. My goodness. The
other cool thing that happened when we drove up and we stopped to check in at the office before we went, we had a cabin there. We stopped to check in at the office. I couldn't believe it because a deer walked up to us to be petted. And the only other time I did that in my lifetime was at the Atlanta Zoo, but I couldn't believe it.
Pretty cool.
It was a full-size deer. I'm like, it didn't have a rack, but yeah, the deer came up to be petted. I was like, holy cow. So.
Well, you have heard the Billy and Joe Top 10 show. We chatted about our favorite places to visit. Joe, as always, it's a pleasure. You can listen to Joe at anchor.fm at Indy's Local Flavor. You can also check that out on SoundCloud. Joe, what's coming up on your shows, or what shows have you done just recently?
Every Tuesday, me and a couple of buddies do the NFL wrap up and then preview for the next week. And then we'll be talking this week about the Lions coming to town. So, yeah, it's the Lions, then the Ravens. So I hope the Colts, do what they have to do.
We'll see what team shows up, won't we?
Definitely.
Yeah. I do not know the topic of next week. Joe and I normally kind of get together a couple hours after the show, and after we get our show up and on YouTube. You can search YouTube, the Keeping Nostalgia Alive show. You can find our show there on YouTube. And you can also go to Facebook and go to the Billy and Joe Top 10 show. Please subscribe and like us. You can message us, too, on shows that you would like to hear about Billy and Joe's Top 10. So, Joe, as always, a pleasure. Look forward to it. And like I said, everybody, we're going to finally get this down to either a Sunday night or a Monday night. But until Joe and I win the lottery, it may be either Sunday night or Monday night.
Exactly.
Joe, thank you again. And everybody, please go to the Keeping the Nostalgia Live show on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. Also go to the Billy and Joe Top 10 show on Facebook and like our page. Thank you, everybody, and have a great week.
Let's go Bears.